brownies again. I think I've made brownies before, and I don't think I've done this recipe. I don't really remember, but it's a really quick, easy brownie recipe. Something you can do if you have kids or if you just want a quick bite. It's not as quick as doing like the mug brownie recipes, which I guess I could do at some other point. That is really quick. But if you have a couple of friends, or if you are having a night where you just want to like stuff your face with delicious chocolatey goodness and just want to remember that you're alive, then this is probably the recipe for you, because you won't feel completely guilty about it. Although this is actually a recipe that I found that has it's more keto and it actually cuts down the calories, but I'm not going to do that because this is kind of a day where I need to get rid of stuff from my refrigerator, and I don't have one of those ingredients, i.e. stevia. So we're just gonna wing it. So I have here from Brahma Bakery. The recipe is 3/4 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt, a 1/4 cup of skim milk, a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, and then we have a 1/2 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. Then we have a 1/2 cup of Trivia baking blend, and then an egg, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to do the dry ingredients first, dump them out, and put them back in. It doesn't say to do that, but I've noticed that I have chunks of oats when I don't like chunks of oats. So we're just going to throw them in. So this recipe calls for, like I said, about a 1/2 cup of old-fashioned oats, rolled oats. Then we have about a teaspoon of baking powder. Spread, 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 spread. Then we have about a pinch of salt. There, that works. Maybe a little bit more. There's a pinch. And we are going to blend this just so we can get, you know, a good mixy, and we want to break down those oats. Okay, let's dump this. And now that that's out of the way, let's do the wet ingredients. And now we have the 3/4 cup of yogurt. So I'm just going to use the full fat because that's what I happen to have on hand. And it's getting up there in age, so let me just use it basically. Now the 4th cup of, it says skim milk, I'm using almond milk. It's gonna have less fat anyway, like the skim milk. And you're actually getting, again, a higher level of protein than you would from skim milk in general. Okay, we have an egg. And then we have the cocoa powder and the sugar. Now, I could use honey, and I could use maple syrup and a lot of other the replacements that I have in the house, but I happen to have something that I kind of want to get rid of because I don't want it to be tempting to me anymore. I have Nutella. So since it calls for a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder and a 1/2 cup of stevia, I'm just going to throw the rest of my hazelnut spread in here. It's actually not necessarily Nutella, it's actually hazelnut spread. So let's dump, dump, dump this. I have about a cup left in here, so I think I'll be good. And now we just blend all the wet ingredients. Okay, we're gonna scrape down the sides, and then we're gonna add the oats to it. Okay, and we put this in. Okay, now we're gonna scrape down the sides and then just pour this whole thing into a prepared baking pan. It said just to butter it. I'm not doing that because I don't trust that the pan is gonna, you know, be non-stick. So what I did is that I put parchment paper and I sprayed the hell out of it so that I would know that nothing would stick. Let's see if it pours well. Ooh, and it does. Now we are ready to put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. The oven is currently at 400 degrees. That's what the recipe calls for. And now we wait. All right, so now we are ready to take this out of the pan. I took it out at about 15 minutes and I've let it sit for about another, I don't know, 15 or so maybe. Let's just cut this up. Don't those just look beautiful? I think they look really delicious. I am really excited actually to try them. You could have also put chocolate chips or nuts or something like that in them. I did not. So let's try one out. I'm gonna try a corner piece. I guess I'll try this one. Just good so far. Good. Very good. You can definitely replace both the cocoa powder and the sugar or the stevia with Nutella. It worked really well. Or hazelnut spread, whatever you use. The yogurt adds a nice along with the Nutella. Nice fat content. Overall, success! Like I said, you could definitely put other things in it. You don't even have to use a hazelnut spread. You can use a macadamia spread, which is basically Nutella with macadamia nuts instead. Or you can do the cocoa flour, or you can even use a chocolate sauce instead. It's all up to you. Definitely, I think you can play around with this recipe. You can definitely do it the original way and have the low sugar keto kind of meal, or you can just not care like I did and just take an easy recipe and flip it around. So try it out. See what you like, see what you don't like, and I'll catch you next time. Well, I stuffed my face. These are good.